Hell yeah. Sorry in advance if the light ends up flickering off. I'm hoping that it's fixed. This is your September 2024 Virgo season reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below. It's easier to get to my website and schedule at this time. There are different types of payment. New podcasts will be out soon based off of the nervous system and all things Virgo season, because that's the body part. And this is the month after your season. It feels like forever. I hope you're doing well. I hope those late Leos enjoyed your birthday, even though I'm sure it was a little tense last week or the week before. And a little bit demanding of you, of course, as we enter this Virgo energy. And what are the things that have been calling to your attention? What have been raised? What has come up at this time? Ooh, sorry, baby. I have a kitty here. The kitty loves Leo and the Capricorn energy the most, just so you guys know. Okay. You are being grounded down. So if you're finding that you want more stillness, or that you're wanting quiet, or you're needing grounding energy, and it doesn't mean that there's not, some fire with that, doesn't mean that there isn't some energy that comes along with it, but it's more like you're conserving energy. Well, that's because at this time you may be going through and have been exposed to a part of you that has felt weak, a part of you that needs strengthening, for another way of expressing that. And that is believing in the reality and your dreams. I bring that up because with Pisces, Saturn retrograde in Pisces in your 8th house of other people's money, and where Virgo is transiting for Leo risings, your 2nd house, and it's the money axis, while at the same time coming through out of your season, Mercury also moving from your sign to Virgo. You're becoming very aware of even where the critiques come to you, where you've been overly demanding of yourself, of your own energy, and where it's been coming out in ways where you're then unable to give your life, your ideas, your whatever it is that's next for you, the energy it properly needs. And this season is given you, brought you towards, put you in positions, or you've noticed that you are being drawn towards more, yoga or mindful meditative practices, reading, meditating, learning, especially the way it connects to how it can sharpen your skills. It can sharpen your awareness, your abilities to communicate, not only your skills to yourself, because that will also help you communicate it to whomever you need to next, and how that is going to extend into your life. But this time is also, to me, has brought up ancestry and where that is in your life, and it's not to blame those people, like, how people will make their astrological sign their excuse to remain this way, or I'm like that because I'm a Leo, right? Like, I find security in being the leader. I'm the one who needs to speak up, or I'm the one who needs to be the boss of the group, or I'm the one that needs to have the parties or direct the energy in the room. Instead of leaning into places, right? It's finding that flexibility where you can find, see, this is, I want to try to find the beauty. We're going to bring in the beauty try to bring in the beauty in every reading now, sorry. And the beauty of this is that you get to like oversee the progression and the evolution of how your mind then expands, and the openness that you find, and how even very small, subtle shifts that you can use to access more abundance, more efficiency to the skill sets that you have. It has become easier this week. Because in Leo, Mercury in Leo, there were times where we wanted to be right so bad that you could almost defend it, but then you have to realize at some point that it's not working for you. It's like someone trying to convince another person that they're fine. They keep saying it. You know, it's like that overemphasis of like, I'm fine, I'm okay, like I'm good. Like, you know, when someone does that, you know, like they know they're not good. I know they're not good, but they may not know why they're not good. And is this the time to, you know, talk about that information? How do you tell someone that they're not fine? How do you tell someone who's really in a bad relationship, or like a moment where they learn some information, even about yourself, a self-realization, that so much good is here in this moment with you, so much luck is here in this moment with you? If you're not someone who's used to that or open to that information, mentally, emotionally, in any way, spiritually, it's going to sound nuts. But if you can commit to understanding and coming back to in times where, because we have the Hangman here, that can easily turn into the Two of Swords. You know, you're not Virgo, and even they need to take even they're like, they understand how it can be so easy to gain access to your own mental and go on this road, and then you find yourself alone even in the places that you're going with other people. It's not about committing to that and seeing that through. Just because you started something, you have to finish it, right? That's not the Virgo way anyway. Even though there could have been parts of them that felt that way when Venus was governing them at the time. But now, this is actually that point. This is why you need this at that point. This is why it feels frustrating or annoying to go with it. Let me tell you why. Because there's freedom on the other side. When you're committing deeply to that moment where you're frustrated and something's going on, and you know this, like I know you know this, we're just going over something and then we're going to get somewhere else with it, I'm sure. Where you know that it's not engaging in the opposite way. It's not bringing ice to the heat. It's not bringing heat to the cold. It's bringing the fire to the fire. It's when those moments arise where you feel like, instead of feeling inspired by your thoughts and it's taking you somewhere, you automatically feel held back, insecure. What am I doing here? What do I think? That's the moment that if you can remind yourself, or you can treat yourself so kindly, like you would someone you were committed to, like you would something you were nurturing, right? With such freedom, with such openness, open heart, open mind, that's why there's been so much demand of you. Because truthfully, internally, something is calling your name. Something is actually in demand of you. It's you. And those moments that you need to engage with are showing you that is the luck. It's showing you where you're going. It's where you're not, or where you're not going, or where you need to change direction. You just keep hitting cards. Ah. through the course of this month, you will find that something within you is feeling freer. Something within you is gaining access to, from Two of Swords to Two of Cups, this opening, this emotional opening from a mental discipline. And it's freeing that channel, maybe that throat, if you have felt like, because there's not a lot of expression here too. There's not like an overabundance amount of expression in this way here. And I think that's maybe the way that you're learning to be disciplined, is through how you decide to express your needs, your desires coming out of your season, because you've needed rest, because your desires have needed, or your goals or your abilities have needed more attention. And that's what rest can be sometimes, is like this passive attention instead of passive aggression. Maybe that would be the name of your reading, is passive attention, of like, if you can passively tend to the parts of you that need that kind of space, but then give more light to the parts of you that need to be engaged with. It's not foolish, nor avoidant, nor childish. It's about you going towards what lights you up. Like, you finally, after some period of time, you connect what has caused this lack of freedom to express yourself. There's been restriction, there's been restraint, there's been confusion. There is confusion. But something, as Mercury moves into Virgo, something clicks with you. And Mars is transiting your 12th house for Leo risings. Which can be very powerful. You're connecting to what you've been avoiding to address subconsciously, that has been, how convenient the dark shows up now, that has been showing itself to you consciously the more now that Mars is in Cancer in your 12th house. Which is, and you're like, how is this good? Well, Jupiter's transiting your 11th house of, briefly, good fortune, community, who you connect with. And we'll get more into the second part, into the astrological parts, of course. But it's how you find yourself here. It's how you're presently meeting with yourself here, now that you've settled into understanding and deciding that the power that you have is where you choose to put your energy right now. And it seems so simple, of course. But when there's so many distractions available that have access to your weaknesses, for lack of a better word, that play on your heart, eventually you'll realize that it can't be relaxing when something else is coming into your brain or something else is affecting you, and you have to realize and you have to shine light on what that is. And when you finally commit to it, it's like doing the thing you've been resisting. It's doing that thing, that one thing. Even if it's one step towards it, you're taking 20 steps. When in the future you're taking 20 steps, just taking this one step is starting the path. Because that path can't become any kind of real if you can't step towards it. Then it's always going to be a vision and imagination. But you have to take that action. And you have to be able to feel brave in taking that action, because for some of you, this is deepening your trust with yourself in a way that has felt like it's lain dormant for a while, but it became activated through this demand. through needing to process, digest, and come back to your heart space in a way that feels almost refreshing to you. I'm sorry, we're in your way. Yeah. Your view of security is being rebalanced. The way that you communicate with the world is changing. Any which way that you feel like you have been negatively impacting yourself in the ways that you've been afraid to be vulnerable and open with how free in your life to be yourself you ultimately feel like is possible and that you want to be. You find that there have been like an extra amount of limitations that in the near future you may find have been necessary, but until then they have felt like inconveniences, major inconveniences. But really these limitations have been showing you where it is from 6 of Pentacles to 6 of Cups that you've been overgiving and allowing others to validate your security and your sense of self, and needing that to validate what you truly want to communicate from your heart. But now you realize, and maybe you got used to that and having that for such a long time, and now you realize that there's this necessary judgment or feedback that is needed in certain relationships in order to progress, in order to feel cared for and loved. That your view of care, Venus in Libra right now, is showing you where there's weakness, where there's improvement needed, or where there is ease in your communication, where it's so easy for you to make negotiations right now, to have that necessary talks about, you realized I have found more value in myself and I need to communicate this. I feel brave, I feel free, this is the time. Nothing, even if I hear what I don't want to hear, it's not going to bring me down because I know it's coming for me. I know I'm walking towards it. I feel it. That is not just illusion, it's a delusional way of communicating to yourself and even helping your own consciousness access the upgrade with you. And notice how you feel speaking yourself through it. Can you speak yourself through it? Can you allow yourself to feel whatever it is to feel when you say certain things out loud? When you have certain conversations out loud in a way where you're not looking to have it to be, there's no power dynamic here. This is a conversation about the way that you're valued, the way that you value yourself. Whether it's with a trusted person, it's coming up in a really important way in your life where you need to be able to find the capacity to communicate in a way that you feel deeply secure of yourself, what you have, what you've gathered, the information that you know, who you are. This may be testing who you are, your identity. But through this process, you discover that as you get through it, the way that you feel at the end, the emotional, you may even find that you're making more money, you're being offered more money, you're asking for money and getting that money. And it could be through, if you're learning to communicate through art, in any way, shape, or form that means, if that means engaging with that will bring you more, even if it's this 1 or 2 time thing. Don't downplay the things that feel small right now, because they won't in a week. And everything that felt big can end up feeling small in a week, by the time right after this comes out. What you have and what you bring to the table, Leo, is what you bring, and what others bring is what they bring. It's up to you to have all the information you need before coming to negotiation. What's fair is based off of the information that you know and who you know that you are, and how that relays through your work in love, and how you show your love, how you show how you care about yourself, how you care about your relationships, your relationship with any person in your life right now is going through like a standard upgrade, just standard time, standard upgrade. And this attention, this passive attention, I don't know if I talked about it here, but instead of passive aggression, passive attention is actually bringing you, meaning in areas where you don't need to put too much energy, just allowing yourself to be, because that's conserving energy for places where you will need to pay attention to. That the more you move through this, the more you find all the places in which you've given more of yourself instead of just your compassion. Where you've traded your worth for feeling good in that moment. And now you see that, and because you're moving and reflecting on that, you may often be wondering where else that exists in your life. Don't worry, it will show up if you want it to. You can engage with it. You can speak to it, and it can even bring you opportunities because you have that kind of power. Maybe you're like, well, maybe if this got me this far, it's okay to say goodbye and move on, because I've been thinking about and being shown this thing that I've been thinking about, this hobby, this interest, this passion, obsession, whatever it is. And now I feel so safe in myself. I'm not playing it cool. I'm not playing it safe. I'm not playing it also just playing. I'm engaging in my life in a way that feels real. It's bringing even expression and romance to the forefront through the ways that you decide to communicate, through your words and your actions, through your love, through the exchange and the transference of energy. And how good that feels to feel good about yourself and about who you are, regardless of what anyone else thinks. And if that's what's demanding your attention this month after your season and into the season of healing, feeling, and dealing with all of the feelings and dealing with it all. Okay, Leo? It's a bit of softening, especially if your month made you a little more guarded. Committing to the right now is what's really important. We'll see you in the next part. Thank you for being here. All information is below.